Hi everyone, it's Tracy here, back with another card video. I am super excited because today I am using the Sunny Day stamp set that is from Mint Owl Studio, which is my new business. So if you guys are interested and loving these stamps and sequins as much as I do, I would love it if you would hop on over there and check out my store. So I'm stamping this largest flat-bottomed cloud 3 times on a piece of Coordinations 110-pound cardstock with the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And I'm also going to stamp the smaller flat-bottomed cloud 3 times as well using the same ink. And then I went ahead and dried those with my heat tool just to make sure that the ink was completely dried. So I'm going to do a little bit of Copic coloring, not too much and nothing too fancy here. I'm using the B32, which is a lighter blue color, and I'm just coloring part of the cloud, so I'm not covering the whole thing. And I'm also doing the same thing with the smaller ones, but I'm coloring the other half. And then I'm going to add a little bit of darker blue, which is the B34. And you can see I'm going outside the edges and everything because I am going to fussy cut these out, so I don't really have to worry about staying in the edges. And I'm kind of doing this a little bit like scribbly, like I don't really want it to be perfect even lines or anything like that. So I use that darker blue, which is the B37. I'll go back in with my B34 and blend both of those colors out a little bit. And then I'll take my lightest color, which was the B32, and just blend everything together. Alright, so then I'm going to take my 0, which is the colorless blender, and just blend that lightest edge out so that it's not so stark against the white part of the cloud. And then I went ahead and fussy cut those images out. So then I like to go around the edges with my Tuxedo Black Memento marker. It just really finishes the edge off and makes it look like you didn't even fussy cut it out. So it really finishes your card and makes it look professional. Sometimes it's those little tips and tricks that really bring your card together. Alright, so then I am going to die cut a banner. This is from Lawn Fawn. It's a stitched party banner. And I'm using a piece of patterned paper that is also from Lawn Fawn. And I'm die cutting the smaller one out. And I'm also going to need that stitched circle, so I'm just going to pull that out. And then I'll adhere that on in just a minute. So I'm die cutting them out together because I am making a shaker card. So that the circle in the middle is going to be the opening for my shaker card part. So I just place those down with some washi tape, and then I can go ahead and run that through my die cutting machine. I'm using the Cuttlebug, so my sandwich pattern is the A plate, the C plate, and then the B plate. And my paper is in between my C and B plate. So go ahead and run that right through and die cut that out. Alright, so then I can remove those from my cutting plates. And then I'm not going to be using that circle, so you could set that aside and use that for another card, which is exactly what I did. You'll see that one later on in another video. So now I get to put together my shaker part. So I have the frame right here, and then I have that square piece of acetate. So I just laid that over the top of the circle, and then I'm taping that down with some Scotch tape. Alright, so before I put the foam on the back of that, I'm going to heat emboss my sentiment on top of that piece of acetate. So I'm just taking my powder tool and running that over the acetate to really cut down on that static electricity. Otherwise it kind of attracts little particles of embossing powder. And then I am using the stamp that says every cloud has a silver lining. And then stamping that with my Versamark ink. And then I'm going to stamp that right in the center of the vellum, or the acetate. And you just want to be careful because it does want to kind of slide since the acetate is shiny, so you just want to make sure that you have complete control over that. And then I'm using the charcoal embossing powder to put over that. And I will tell you, I didn't think it would be so dark and I thought it would be easier to see, but if I would redo this, I would use white embossing powder. And you'll kind of see how I fixed that in the end. So I went ahead and melted that with my heat tool. And now I can complete my shaker card piece. So I have another square piece of cardstock, and then I am going to line this part with some 3D foam squares. These ones are the small ones from Best Creation. I find that it's easiest to use these squares for shaker cards because they already have adhesive on the back. You don't have to worry about glue squirting anywhere and waiting for that to dry before you add your sequins. And these foam squares you get a ton on a sheet and they're super cheap, so it's kind of a really affordable time saver for your cards. So it took me a while to complete this, so I'll go ahead and skip over that. And I did remove the rest of the backings off from those. And now I am going to add my sequins. These are also available in my shop. These are the Cloudy Day mixed sequins. You get like a gunmetal gray, light blue, and a royal blue, which are really pretty color combination. And then I have my piece of cardstock that I will add right on top of that. And then that is my shaker card piece. So you can kind of see how you can't really see that sentiment. It kind of blends in because it's so dark, so that is why I would use the white instead. So I have my piece of pattern paper and my card base. That pattern paper is from Lawn Fawn, as you saw. So I'll adhere that onto my card base. And that piece measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. So it's a little bit smaller than the A2 size card base. And then before I adhere that down, I am going to tie the little bows on my banner. So I have the May Arts Natural Twine, and I'm going to tie a bow on each side. So I'll just tie that on there, and then I'm tying it so it's towards the side and not the top part of the banner. And this is my favorite twine to use. It's really affordable. You get, let me see, I think you get 400 yards of this and it's less than $20. So it's super affordable and I love the look of it on cards. So now I can adhere that onto my card base. And all of the supplies I'm using on this card will be linked below, along with the link to my shop. So now I'm going to add in my clouds. I'm just kind of randomly scattering these above and below the sentiment. And I like to place them out first before I add them, just because I might change my mind and I don't want to have to deal with the adhesive on there already if I do. So I didn't use all of the clouds, which is perfectly fine. I can always use that extra one on another card. But I am adhering these clouds down with my multi-matte medium. And then, like I said, I didn't really like the sentiment, so I actually ended up stamping over it with the StazOn white ink, which I didn't show in the video, but you will be able to see it in the photos. And it was kind of an easy fix, but I would definitely just do the embossing powder instead because it didn't stamp perfect, but I really didn't want to start over on the shaker card part. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already.